let's get into the marquee fight and the event of the weekend for boxing. Obviously, Canelo Alvarez moving up 2 weight divisions and defeating Sergey Kovalev in my opinion, dramatic comeback fashion. I had Canelo down significantly on my scorecards. I really value the jab and activity of Kovalev throughout the fight, and I thought he was winning rounds. While Canelo was clearly the heavier hitter, clearly the faster puncher, he just wasn't doing enough throughout the fight. And then in the 11th round, we have the KO from Hades off that right hand to start off in the clinch, I want to say. Then the left hook off the temple and the right hand down the pipe to finish it. It was a beautiful combination from Canelo. And again, to me, in my opinion, a comeback-worthy title. That's one of those, in my opinion, that's along the lines of Chavez, Meldrick Taylor. I am putting it on that pedestal, especially in connection with, obviously, the demographic connection of both Mexican boxers and sort of the conversation here. Guys, thoughts on just the KO, the nature of the fight leading up to that KO? Did you see it as a comeback performance from Canelo? Did you have it far closer than I did? Thoughts on this fight, Rob?
I definitely had it closer. I felt while Kovalev was doing all right, there didn't seem to be any snap in there. It was all a lot of, I don't know, pity pat. A lot of it. I mean, let's face it, Canelo's gloves were really marked up by the end of the fight, right? I don't necessarily see that Canelo was wide down on the cards myself, but it doesn't matter. He knocked him out as predicted by yours truly. Now, I can't remember if I said inside 9 or inside the last 9 minutes.
No. You said inside 9 because I said that means it would have to be 8 if it went the distance. Because we had that ridiculous conversation.
Yes.
I was just trying to blag it, but let's be honest, it doesn't matter, Gary, because you picked Kovalev. So,
but you know what? Hey, we might get into it, but besides those scorecards being obviously, in my opinion, wrong, for a lot of us, it felt like Gary was about to be right. He was a round and a half, or my scorecard at least, from being right. And while you thought it was pity pat shots, I will say this: I don't care about that, that narrative, unless, let's say, Canelo, and I think it was round 5. I want to say was a good example of this, where his activity was increased. So because, let's say, he, in my opinion, wasn't landing as much punches as Kovalev, the discrepancy between the two in terms of volume was far closer, and then Canelo was throwing at a higher power rate and doing more damage. Therefore, I give Canelo the edge. I think, again, the 5th round, I want to say, was that round, right? That was the clear Canelo round, I want to say. And the rest of the time, though, I want to say it was Canelo hunting down Kovalev, but not unloading shots. And when he did, it was a single shot. And those single shots may be connected. Meanwhile, Kovalev was throwing 3s and 4s in terms of just pure jabs, going to the body with the right hand, bring the right hand up top, and then, sort of from round, I would say, 4 to 8, 9, he was even sneaking in a good uppercut here and there. Kovalev was doing really good work here that while it was maybe not as powerful as Canelo, obviously, I think was still good work. In the same vein of even the Triple G second fight with Canelo, there was parallels between these two fights in a lot of ways. In terms of how they looked,
I personally think Triple G done better in this comparison, but I think Kovalev, no, he did.
I'll say this: Canelo did a lot better in the Triple G fight than he did in this fight, minus the KO, obviously. Canelo's activity to the body, his combination work in the second Triple G fight is in stark contrast to his lack of activity in this fight.
No, I just mean as far as I thought. For me, I thought Triple G jabbed Canelo's head off a lot of that fight, and in this, I don't think Kovalev did jab Canelo's head off a lot in this fight. I thought there was a lot landing on the gloves, on the forearms, personally, but it doesn't matter because, like I say, he got the knockout. And for me, it was a methodical, slow breaking down and taking Kovalev deep into the fight, which I think must have been the game plan. And it just paid off. And it was, I think, a great performance. It wasn't the most electrifying fight, but the knockout just makes. I mean, your reaction with Anthony last night was like, oh shit, oh, the holy shit, like where, it just didn't seem like that was actually coming at one point. But I just feel like when you look back at the whole fight, there was a methodical breaking down of Kovalev, and I think even Kovalev said he was done after 7 rounds in this post fight, and they also asked him about why he didn't throw that the right hand more and things along those lines, and he said, well, I was getting instructions from my corner to keep behind my jab and things like that. They obviously maybe felt his jab was doing the job, but
I thought it was
for me.
And I will add, he was throwing the right hand, maybe not with power, but he was throwing it.
Yeah. It's just, I don't know. The crusher got crushed. What can I say?
He did, and surprisingly, it wasn't with body shots. I mean, that was the idea, right? That Canelo would get close and work the body, and he kind of never really did. To be honest, he did at times, but not.
Yeah,
that wasn't any consistency.
Like almost a pull counter. He slipped the shot and then threw in it right in the breadbasket. That looked, and I guess with the fears of Kovalev being soft to the body, it didn't maybe people were expecting a full-on body assault, but sinking in a few, 1, 2 per round or whatever was enough to soften him up. But Kovalev admitted that I think it was he said round 7 he was kind of done, and Canelo goes on. What's next? Who knows? But if you want to ask Gary how he felt the fight, but before we go into what's next or whatever,
Gary, obviously thoughts on the fight.
Oh, wow. First, I want to preface this with Canelo is something special. I mean, there's greatness there, like all time next level greatness. Like we talk about, guys. Triple G is a great fighter, but there's no next level. There's no you're gonna tell your kids about Triple G. You're gonna tell your kids about Canelo. I mean, he's a guy that fights everyone. And I know there's always going to be Canelo haters who say he fights people past their primes or whatever. But he fought Floyd Mayweather when he was 22 or 21. Now he went up for a light heavyweight, and he knocked him out. The biggest name, the biggest draw in the light heavyweight division. We can debate where we thought Kovalev ranked, but that was something special that Canelo did. And yeah, I had Kovalev up 7-3. I texted you guys in the group chat my scorecard. I had it 7-3 Kovalev. Watching it again, there were some close rounds. I did favor Kovalev's jab. I could see it being closer, but I thought Kovalev was definitely winning. I wanted. I mean, McGirt's game plan was really good, and he was executing it. Here's my problem with it, though.
I might have some critiques with it, but yes.
He never picked it up, right? Like he's the bigger man. He never hurt Canelo. At no point was Canelo hurt. Like, you can't let a guy as skilled and as fast and as gifted as Canelo just hang around, because things like that can happen, right? I said by the 8th, 9th round, he should have picked it up. Really before that, right? I had him winning a lot of early rounds. By the 6th round, he should have picked it up, tried to score more right hands, more left hooks off the right hand, and really picked up the pace and tried to get Canelo out of there. And he never did. He just seemed content on trying to win rounds, and then he got caught. And he got and the end came really quickly. It was a right hand, left hook, and then a right hand. I mean, a picture perfect right hand down the pipe that nearly knocked his head off.
Reminded me in some ways of like the James Kirkland right hand.
Yeah.
That was just perfect. Sorry, keep going there.
I mean, it was, again, like I had two thoughts. Like, okay, Kovalev is sticking to the game plan, but at a certain point when you're up, when everything's going your way, try to get him out of there. You're the bigger dude, right? Like, if he was the smaller dude and he was having his way like that, okay. But when you're the bigger, physically stronger guy, and you're supposed to be a knockout puncher, why don't you try to, at any point, try to end the fight? Like, why are you just content with putting rounds in the bank?
Well, it's funny because, I think it was when the press conference happened, right, Rob? We talked about this in some way because I overheard Kovalev in an interview that was right next to me talk about Triple G. And Triple G hitting harder than Kovalev, than himself. And him admitting that. Mm-hmm. That he said, hey, if Triple G couldn't get Canelo out of there, I'm not looking for a knockout. Like they said that. That was a part of their game plan. So I think they were never going to have any sense of go for the finish because I think they respected Canelo's chin because they themselves knew that Triple G has more power than this guy and Triple G couldn't get him out of there. So no way in hell are we going to do that. So let's outbox him. And I think they were doing that quite successfully throughout the fight. Though I will say, even if you're not going to look for the finish, you have to up the pressure, up the power just a little bit if you're the bigger, stronger guy. At least in theory, if you're Kovalev, right? If you're the bigger, stronger guy, in theory. I think at no point did he really set down on that right hand. To be honest, he maybe did it for a couple times to the body, threw a really good right hook to the body a couple times, but he never really sat down on a straight right hand down the pipe on Canelo or a hook at all. A lot of flurries, a lot of fast shots, low power, but fast combinations. Because he knew, and maybe some aspect, that Canelo's countering ability was extremely elite. And I think quickly Canelo realized, I can get this guy out of there. I can hurt him. I have the power to do it. And that's why I think he, not reluctantly, but for some reason, as fighters do, fell into one-shot mode. That's why Canelo wasn't throwing a combination. Because he knew I had the power to hurt Kovalev. He just fell in love with the single shot. And then he landed the right hand in the clinch, and that sort of set everything up. Now, I really don't care to get into the whole like scorecard debate, guys. Like, I let other shows do that. Also, if anybody out there is saying that Kovalev took a dive, you will be blocked. You're just not allowed in this community, to be honest. This is for smart people, not knuckle-dragging Neanderthals. Sorry. So please, no talk of that. Not to you guys. I know we won't talk about it, but to the people listening in the chat, have nuanced debates about maybe the technique and where Canelo goes next in his placement history, not whether Kovalev took a dive. That's fucking stupid.
I've heard that too.
I don't
like,
know why.
if you took a dive, why would you get hit with 3 shots like that? Like, why wouldn't you do a Bruce Eldon and almost get hit and go down? Like,
I don't know.
I heard that. Like, you got to be kidding me. He got hit with 3 flush shots, and the right hand was picture perfect. Like, who takes a dive like that?
I legitimately don't understand the thought process for people to say that. I don't. Like, that's not like I semi understand it. Like, going into the Ryan Garcia knockout, I totally understand why people, if they just saw that fight off rip and maybe the first highlight, why they think that one's fishy and weird. And you really have to see one highlight in slow motion to see that shot with Ryan Garcia land behind the ear to see the knockdown. But for this one, it was obvious. It happened live in front of us in real time. We saw that right hand landed clean and flush on Kovalev's chin and drop him. You can't fake that. Like, I'm sorry, guys. Like, you can't act that. That's not an acting thing.
The Ryan Garcia knockdown was a little bit like the Jamel Charlo and Erickson Lubin knockout, where it's where it hit him you know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. It was in the perfect spot, right? Mm-hmm. But yeah, you go back and you watch it. Like, it's the same thing with the Jamel Charlo knockout of Lubin. It's like, was that big of a shot? And then you go back and watch, like, okay, hit him right. Yeah. Yeah,
it just landed perfectly. But digressing from that point, yeah, that's talking point out there is stupid. If you're out there, if you see anyone out there doing it, make fun of them. I'm 100% for public shaming. Publicly shame them, please. Mills Lane saying, what about steroids, Matt? Both guys were on VADA for the entire fight camp, so doesn't matter. And Canelo's also year-round in an extra VADA program, so.
I think he pulled out of that.
Oh, he pulled out of that one?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so just the fight camp then. I know this one had VADA, but I just...
Oh, yeah. Quite a long one as well.
Yeah.
I signed up.
I don't know if it's a full, like, let's say 9-week one, but I want to say at least 7-8 week. But digressing from that, I really don't care about that talk point either. Canelo Alvarez, though, talking about that I want to get to is placement in history now, because this is historic. You know, like Rob mentioned, my reaction, which you can go catch the video of. I clipped it out on YouTube. Go check out me and Anthony Walker's reaction to the knockout live. I said then, like, this is one of the most historic. For me, I said comeback wins, but maybe that's a little bit hyperbolic. I will say this, though. This is just a historic win, period. Like, full stop. Like, this is one of the biggest wins I've seen of the last 10, 15 years in boxing. I know he was a 3-1 favorite for the odds, but look, the fight didn't play out that way for me. This was not a 3-1 favorite sort of fight. This was a competitive, close fight at the very least. And to be honest, Kovalev was winning. And Canelo came back for maybe a round or two and knocked out Kovalev in vicious fashion in the 11th and 12th in the 11th round, the championship round, and did this while moving up 2 divisions after already moving up 3 divisions. Like, this is just, it is historic in a way. Like, I don't know other ways to frame this. Like, this is just an unbelievable win. If Canelo wasn't an automatic Hall of Famer and pound for pound number 1, in your opinion, anyone out there listening right now, he has to be right now. He punched his ticket to the Hall of Fame instantaneously with that knockout, even though he probably already did beforehand. And on top of that, he is pound for pound number 1 in the world. You cannot argue the contrary. I'm sorry. You can't. Sorry, Inoue, who I'm a big fan of. Sorry, Crawford. Sorry, Lomachenko. Sorry, Usyk. What Canelo just did is otherworldly. That shouldn't happen. Guys, thoughts?
I got 2 thoughts. First, I thought Canelo, and I'm not really a Canelo fan. I'm really kind of indifferent on him. I don't root for him or against him.
I'm more of a Canelo fan immediately.
Yeah. I mean, he was already a Hall of Famer. He already had enough wins that he was already a Hall of Famer. But now we're talking about, like, next level greatness. When Hagler ran the 160-pound division for a decade, right, and he cleaned up the division, he started calling up welterweights. So why don't you come up and fight me? And Michael Spinks, who was a light heavyweight champion, was like, well, why don't you come up? And Hagler's like, I'm not going to buy a light heavyweight champion. Canelo just did that, right? I mean, and obviously Spinks was better than Kovalev, but Hagler didn't dare do what, and I love Hagler. Hagler's one of my favorite fighters of all time, but he didn't dare do what Canelo just did. And Canelo scored, like you said, an amazing comeback knockout in the 11th round. Canelo just doesn't care. He'll fight anyone. After he fought Mayweather when he was 22 or 21. Then he lost to him, and he said, give me the next best pure boxer out there. Give me Laura. And Oscar's like, chill on that. Don't do that. He's like, no, I want to fight Laura. Give me Laura. He fights Laura, right? And before that, he had that fight with Mayweather all lined up. He's like, give me Trout. I want to fight Trout. Who wants to fight Austin Trout in their prime? I mean, you can beat him, but you're never going to look good against him.
And that was Austin Trout coming off like Miguel Cotto win.
That's what I'm saying.
That was a different Austin Trout.
By the way, circle back to Matt's point about clowning people that say Kovalev dived. Go and check Austin Trout's Twitter feed. So go clown the guy. Jesus.
Not bitter. A little bit bitter.
I'm interested in seeing what Canelo's going to do next. I mean, I'm starting to, become a fan of the guy just because, like, he doesn't care. He'll fight anybody. And he's always been that. And I know there's haters because of the Chavez Jr. fight. And, like, that's easy money. I guess take it. It was Mexican Independence Day, I guess. No, it was Cinco de Mayo, right?
Which one? Sorry.
Chavez Jr. was Cinco de Mayo?
Yes, because then September was Triple G, right?
Yeah, yes. It's easy money. It's a big fight. They did 1 million pay-per-views about, like, I guess take it. But, like, you can't fault the guy for taking one easy fight. When look what's on his resume. I mean, he is literally everything that's good about boxing. He'll fight anyone. He doesn't care. He's the biggest name in the sport. And when was the last time you saw the A side jump up and fight? Fight the bigger guy. It's usually the A side, the big name, makes the smaller guy come up. Canelo just did the opposite and knocked him out.
And
champion walked out first, right?
I want to bring up that point really quick, and then I want Rob's take on this subject. People bring up Loma in the chat. I see a lot of people bring up Loma as number 1. Look, Loma's best win, if we're fucking honest, it's Guillermo Rigondeaux. And that is the complete inverse of this situation right here. Where Loma was the bigger guy by 2 weight classes and beat up on the smaller guy and dominated him. Canelo moved up 2 weight classes after already moving up 3 weight classes, guys. People are forgetting that. He started at 147 and then moved up to 160 and then moved up all the way to 175, okay, and then beat Sergey Kovalev, who at worst, guys, is the top 4th light heavyweight in the world, right? And at best, he's at the time that Canelo beat him yesterday, was number 2. Like, let's just be honest here. You can laugh, Rob, but that's the God honest truth.
Said number 2.
That's what you're laughing at. The immature 13-year-old. Okay.
Yeah.
I want to get down that pound for pound thing real quick because I think.
Hold on, quickly. I want Rob to jump in here about Canelo's historic placement, and then if you want to jump in for pound, you can, Gary. Rob, where does Canelo place here, like historically in any sense? Like, is it too soon in your opinion, or any way to start talking about Canelo all time?
I don't know. What is he? 50? What fight? How many fights now?
Hold on, I have it up.
It's a ridiculous amount of fights.
He has 52 wins, 1 loss, 2 draws.
So that was his 55th
fight.
55th fight?
Yeah. 55 fights. Yeah, it's too late for me. It's nearly 1 a.m. Yeah, his resume is just insane. And if there's ever someone that you can look at and talk about losing your O, someone's O has got to go. His O went against Mayweather, and look what he's done since then. It's insane. I just, who currently anywhere else is going to do this, what he's doing right now? It isn't that guy, I don't think.
I agree completely. And a lot of people are Loma stands in the chat right now. Look,
that's okay. No, I get it.
No, guys, hold on. Quickly, hold on, guys. Let's hold on. Please call in, guys. Like, I really want to debate all these points that you guys are bringing up because they're debatable, and I think I would demolish all you guys, even you, Leonard, even though you're a fucking wizard in boxing. Call in, please. Skype Mixed Combat Radio 323-870-4051. I'm no longer arguing with the chat right now because look. Again, Loma's best win is Guillermo Rigondeaux, not Pedraza, not Luke Campbell, not Gary Russell Jr. when he wasn't proven, not Nicholas Walters off of a huge layoff. Nope, it was Guillermo Rigondeaux. And that's the inverse of what we just saw last night. And that's very indicative of who's the number 1 pound-for-pound guy.
I think it's just Foogatti with a lot of sock accounts spreading all that Loma love in the chat. It's just, he made 10 different accounts. Loma.
I know that's not true, but I want that to be true.
No, for me, look, don't get me wrong. Loma's a fantastic fighter. Like, probably more technically sound and skilled than Canelo, but just Canelo's resume is just insane. I know people will throw up, but he's got Vegas in his pocket. Look at the cards from last night and look at the cards he's had in the past. And that's not on him. I don't know. He's still taking the challenges.
That's on capitalism.
Yeah, sure. But for me, doing what he's doing, I mean, what is next? Sensibly, you'd say maybe 168 or Bivol at 175, purely because of the size is a bit more like realistic. But what I think the next amazing thing that Canelo could do is go back down to 160 from 175 and do something great there. I don't know who that opponent would be. But, I mean, is it people that always say Canelo's kryptonite is going to be a guy that can box and move? So does he take a Billy Joe Saunders or an Andrade? Maybe people wouldn't get too excited about that, but that's ticking another box. That's another middle finger up to people that say, yeah, but he's avoided Billy Joe because Billy Joe's got the skills and the movement and the sort of boxing IQ to beat Kovalev or to beat Canelo, sorry, or Andrade. Same sort of narrative is given there. Apparently that is the kryptonite for Canelo, someone who can move in front of him. So for me, that's the legacy. The next legacy thing is to go back down to 160
or 168 if it's Billy Joe.
Yeah, no, I'm saying sensibly it would be 168, and then if you're going back to 160, you do it in stages. But
it would be the healthier thing too. I want to add.
Yeah, that's what I mean by sensibly. But Canelo is Canelo, and the next challenge might be I'm going to drop right back down to middleweight. I'm going to do something there. I don't know. It's just where the biggest fights are, I guess.
Or he stays at 175 and fights better beef, as he keeps saying.
Don't do that. I think that's the wrong fight.
It is look, he probably loses that fight. Like, let's be honest, but like he keeps mentioning, like he's open with it. Like he's open to the idea, and
yeah, they're also open to cruiserweight. So that's what
I'm saying. He's got the old. He doesn't care. He'll go fight better beef. Like he doesn't care.
He's crazy. He might be. He's
the baddest motherfucker around. More than Clen in that fucking beef, I'll tell you. There's like fucking LSD or some shit. He's seeing things that people don't see. There's talk of cruiserweight has come up, man. I'm like, it's insane. I don't know who that could. I mean, look, Okoli. He could maybe beat Okoli.
No, he is 100% beating Okoli.
I know he's awkward. You'll see him in the clinch. You'll see what he can do when he's being held.
What's his name? I think it's Boxing Junkie on Twitter. Friend of the show in a way. He made a joke like, we now need to see Okoli versus Canelo to really test out Canelo's boxing ability. I just laughed my ass off, man. That was great.
So let's see you deal with that style.
But guys, are we all in agreement that Canelo's pound for pound number one?
I want it
for me. Yeah, for me.
Yes.
For me. And like you say, he's Hall of Famer whenever they want to put him in there. Whenever he's now. Mm-hmm. He was before this, in my opinion. So this is just put the final cherry on the icing of the whatever. But yeah, just crazy. Just yeah.
Gary?
On the pound for pound thing, I'm of the old school nature where a pound for pound champ can't lose his title by winning, right? So meaning as long as the pound for pound champ keeps winning or doesn't retire like Warden and Floyd, then he stays pound for pound. I had Terrence Crawford at number one. That being said, there's no way after this you can't put Canelo at number. Like, I still say Clemson's the number one college football team in the country because they won the national championship. They have the same team and they haven't lost, so they're number one until they get beaten. But after Canelo did that, like, how do you not make him number one? He went up 2 weight classes and beat the man at 175. The only other guy you could really make an argument for was Inoue, saying, I did that to Navarez. You know what I'm saying? But this is a bigger scale.
Significantly bigger scale.
Yeah.
And pure pounds between weight classes and just percentage of body weight, like, it's a bigger deal.
Like, it's got to be Canelo. Like, I mean, I was always under the mindset, like, you can't lose your crown unless you lose. And Crawford never loses, so it's Crawford till he loses. But after this, like if Crawford went up to 160 and beat, Triple G or Canelo or someone there, you'd be like, okay, that changes things, right? This changes things. So, yeah, I got to put Canelo number one pound for pound now, and I put Crawford 2 and Inoue 3.
So, both of you have a little think, but what fight do you want next for Canelo? Cinco de Mayo next year. What do you want?
Just read my mind. That was going to be my exact next question, Robert.
Getting good at this now.
Look at you, man. Look, the flow, the organization. Amazing. If I had to pick, if I'm playing matchmaker,
what do you want, and then what do you think?
Here's what I personally want, and I know I'm going to get a PBC fan for it because it's Charlo. I would love to see a Jamal Charlo Texas showdown with Canelo. Like, that would just be an all-action fight. I would obviously pick Canelo, but I think Charlo's style would be a really fun matchup, stylistically, with Canelo. While obviously Andrade, Billy Joe may have styles to beat Canelo, Charlo has the style to give us one of the most exciting fights of the year with Canelo, in my opinion. Fight, though, that I think would be out of the box fight that I'm going to mention that is not really a possibility, but one that I want to see. Gilberto Ramirez. I would love to see a all-Mexican showdown between Gilberto Ramirez and Canelo Alvarez. That would be a really fun, intriguing fight for me.
Gary.
I personally, you guys know I'd want him to fight Charlo. Like, that just what I would personally want. What I think we're going to get next is Billy Joe, probably at 68. I think that's why Eddie's putting him on the DAZN card, the KSI card, so that people get to see just how boring he is. But no, I think he's trying to make Billy Joe a household name, which is why he's putting him on that card. And I think Cinco de Mayo, we're getting Billy Joe versus Canelo. I would guess at 168, but, maybe at 160, but probably at 68.
Well, yeah, at 168, he can finally be the four actual division belt world title holder, can't he? Instead of the WBA trinket that he's claiming as the fourth. But
who did Billy Joe beat to get that strap at 168?
Sufi.
Sufi.
That was the guy.
Hey,
let's
keep going down this road. Who did Andrade beat for his little trinket? Was it Walter Katendokwa, aka Walter White from Breaking Bad?
It was, but Billy Joe popped dirty and
That
had his
shit
belt.
happens,
No,
man.
you're right.
But here's
you're
the thing:
right.
all these fights are great fights still.
Yeah.
You know, like Billy Joe Saunders still a great fight for Canelo. I think Andrade's still a great fight for Canelo. Even though we can probably pick apart why maybe it's not the best, but these are all fun fights. Like Canelo's in a stage where, like, his tune-up is still a fun fight. You know what I mean? And that's in a weird way, like, similar to like Mayweather in a sense. Like Mayweather in like the pay-per-view run, like his tune-up was Robert Guerrero, which was still like a notable name. You know what I mean? Like I think Canelo's at that stage where his tune-up is still notable names. I think we're hopefully done with that stage of bad fights.
Charlo is what we're talking about.
Yeah,
then,
Charlo
right?
would be a tune-up. Exactly.
Yeah.
Yes.
So you feel Callum Smith isn't going to get the phone call?
No, because he's not a tune-up in my opinion. I think he takes a tune-up level fight next, to be honest. But a tune-up level fight for him would be Jamal Charlo at this point in time.
Okay.
You get what I'm saying?
Yeah. I agree. Maybe tune-up's a little harsh, but I get you. I get what you mean.
It's 100% harsh with our connotation in the boxing community, but this is just the reality at this point.
What about Joe Smith Jr. at the Garden?
That would align with the tune-up fight, but look, you're the only one on that show that keeps bringing up Joe Smith Jr. with these fights.
But he's got to fight with Hart. Should he beat Hart? That's a good win.
Yeah, sure,
Yeah.
but I don't want Canelo versus Joe Smith Jr. That's not intriguing. That would be like a Canelo Murata fight.
But it was like Canelo versus Kirkland, but now you made Kirkland bigger.
No. Kirkland wasn't top 10. Joe Smith Jr. is top 10. I'll give him that credit. He's like ninth in the division, but I'll give him that credit. Okay. This would be like, again, Canelo fighting Murata, who's a regional star, obviously in Japan. You know, a top 10-ish, 15 guy in the middleweight division. But that does really nothing for me. No way. That's too far to the tune-up. Like more of the connotation of a tune-up, in my opinion. There's not an intriguing narrative there with the matchup. There's not an intriguing style matchup, really, in my opinion.
It's just weird that we're mentioning anyone from 160 to 175. Like it's like go fish. Any of these three weight classes, just pick a name. Pick the best name you can make.
Because that's what he is now. That's what he's doing.
Yeah.
I mean, Canelo might be at that stage where he just doesn't care about the belts because he's making a lot of money regardless, and he doesn't need the belts. So he's just going to go fight big names and interesting names. And to the point, like you mentioned with the Laura matchup years ago, this is not out of character for Canelo to take risky matchups when his own promoter is telling him not to. That's actually 100% what Canelo does. So I don't know here. I can see
now if Oscar tries to offer any advice.
Oh my! Yo, did you see Canelo try as hard as he could to not let Oscar hug him at the press conference?
Yes. It was great.
That was the funniest thing ever. In my life.
Having Canelo is like buying Microsoft in the 80s. Just don't do anything, right? Just collect the dividend. Just sit there, and you don't have to work anymore. Just I'm being serious, right? Like
That's right. Yeah.
Just don't do anything. You can just collect money off of that for the rest of his career.
But at the moment, he's risking being the guy that sold his Apple shares when they were like $7 a pop or what. That's where Oscar is right now. Just don't do that. Just let him be. But yeah, for me, I think Saunders is in with a shout, and I think you're right, Gary. That'll be 168. They're not going. There's no reason to try and do that at 160 because Saunders has got a bout that Canelo would probably want to. I think that might be something he's hearing, even though he's out there saying I'm a four division champion or whatever.
But PBC won't recognize him as one because they don't recognize WBO.
I'm pretty sure he doesn't care what BBC have got to say about anything.
Quickly, Leonard Sterling saying, "Let's get real, guys. You have not named the best 175-pounders, Bivol, Better Beef, or the best 168-pounders, Smith, Benavidez, and Plant." First off, we did mention Smith. I just mentioned that I don't think he's fighting him in May. I think he would totally fight him, just not next. He just fought Kovalev, man. Secondly, we did mention Better Beef and Bivol, and we said no, he's probably not gonna fight those guys because those guys probably do beat him. And this 175 was kind of a bridge too far, but maybe he got a little bit lucky that it was Kovalev. You know what I mean? Not a prime fighter. in a way.
What
Not
about Bivol? What about Bivol? That size wise is more.
But I think wear and tear is a factor. But
I don't think Bivol's a name that's going to be exciting for people either. I don't think that.
Oh, you think it's not going to be exciting?
No, no one was.
No.
Who's asking for that fight besides like hardcore? And I'd rather see him fight Caleb Plant than Bivol, right? So like,
or Benavidez or Callum Smith.
Benavidez. Benavidez would be a great fight. Like, I mean, Bivol could make it because he's on the zone side with. I guess he's with Eddie, but he's still I guess he's co-promoted.
Yeah, he is. It's just not. He's just a network free agent, I believe. But
okay,
with obviously Kathy do. Oh my God, how many people are in people's pockets right now?
A lot.
Like Kovalev, damn.
Poor Kovalev.
I think we get that fight now. I think Kathy said, "Okay, one more fight with Kovalev. I'll give him Bivol now." Right? Because
you think that gets made now?
Yes. I think so.
Yes.
Yeah, on DAZN.
They look. Kathy Duva, and she's smart. She's been around a while. Obviously, she's grown up in the sport. She knows that if you have a young, undefeated champion like Bivol, you need to get him over with the older generation. Kovalev did that with Bernard Hopkins, for example, right? That passing the torch moment. It obviously was a faded Bernard Hopkins, but it still mattered in a way. And I think in the same way, you need Bivol to fight that former generation of 175 to really establish himself with more of a wider fan base, to be honest. And in the same vein of like 147, and they were all most of them at this point, rather unfortunate that they were not lucky enough to fight Mayweather or Pacquiao. And then they've had to sort of had a rougher time getting to the top of stardom because of that. I think Bivol, if he fights Kovalev, it's an easier road to markability, drawing power for him. And that's just a fight that needs to happen. But digress from that. Any last points about Canelo Alvarez here, guys?
No, I just thought, took a little while to, wipe the sleep out of his eyes from being on the couch. And, eventually got him out of there, as predicted.
We will talk about that in a second as well once we get through this undercard. Ryan Garcia defeating Romero Duno via first round KO. And luckily, there's not much to talk about here. Ryan Garcia really just demolished Duno rather quickly.
It's Ryan's fault. This whole thing is Ryan's fault. This was supposed to last longer.
I get what you're saying.
He fought well for someone who was scared of the guy. Yeah?
Oh, man. Dude, I am so happy to see Oscar De La Hoya and Eric Gomez eat their words. It makes me so happy. Like, I'm not a Ryan Garcia fan at all, and I'll be honest, I'm probably more of a hater of Ryan Garcia. But through the whole beef with Oscar, I'm supporting Ryan Garcia 110%.
Hell yeah.
And for the fact that
we encourage the petty.
Absolutely. And for the fact that his promoter again went out in public and said that he was scared of this guy. And then him to go out there and knock him out in the first round. Jesus Christ himself could not write a better story, honestly. Like that is more than perfect. I am so happy this happened. But again, not much to really tell about the fight because it happened in about a minute and like 10 seconds. And I think there was a clear athletic difference between these two. Like it was night and day. Honestly.
I think go back, listen to the prediction show. Ryan Garcia via speed.
Oh, I think we all picked Ryan Garcia.
Yeah, no, I'm just saying.
I picked him by bogus decision
as well.
On
a hot streak. That's
because I thought me and you for sure picked like Ryan Garcia, like more definitive. Gary, that's right. Gary was like, no, Duno's gonna give him that work, and he should win the fight. Gary,
I picked him I picked Garcia by bogus decision. Remember, that was I thought would trouble him on the inside like Velez did. Went round, beat him up, slow him down, and well. He never got that.
Rabbit in the headlights the minute Ryan threw a punch. And it's like, holy shit, I didn't even see that. You know what I mean? Like, wow. Like, the speed's too much.
Do you think Ryan should take a huge step up in competition, guys?
Yeah, Devin Haney.
I'm okay with that. We're going to talk about him later on.
Yeah, we just, I mean, nothing in between, Rob. You want to go straight to Devin Haney?
Well, I mean,
he's next in line, right?
Timeout. There's not much between those two.
Between Duno and Devin Haney?
No. Between Ryan Garcia and Devin Haney.
Oh,
that's what I'm saying. Of course, Duno and Devin Haney. No. Of course, that's not what I'm saying. I'm saying between Ryan Garcia and Devin Haney, both guys are really unproven prospects, even though one has a belt right now.
Kind of has. I mean, he has a belt. He does have a
He
belt.
technically has a belt. We have to say it. It's unfortunate.
The WBC is sending me one too. So I'll.
Yes.
What's he got? The silver?
I'm getting the BMF belt. By the way, I'm getting that later down the line. That belt looked amazing. By the way, digressing though.
Means fuck all, but yeah.
It does mean fuck all, but hey, at least it was a cool looking belt. I can't say that about most of boxing's championship belts. But digressing, is there any real takeaway we can have here from the Ryan Garcia fight? Any substantive point we can take away that?
Nah, just a
No,
big.
the speed is real, and you can see at a lower level, that speed is going to be way too much. Now we'll see what it does against elite level competition.
Did we see any head movement that was improved from Ryan Garcia in this matchup? Again, I know it was a little bit. No, too much. Yeah, I agree.
I don't know how you can gauge it.
Yeah, agreed. Moving on, I'm curious to see who they match up Ryan Garcia next, because who they match him up with next will be a huge determining factor in what they view about him now. Because I need to see a top 10 guy versus Ryan Garcia. I need to see that. He's ready. Not even a top 15, 20 guy. Go to the top 10. He's talented enough. If he loses, who cares? Moving on. Sinus Estrada defeating Marlon Esparza via technical decision, even though there was a scorecard of 90-81 that was utterly atrocious. And one of the worst scorecards of the year. Easily. I thought the right person won. I thought Estrada did win this fight. I thought she was the better boxer. I think she was the tougher fighter as well in sort of the exchanges with Esparza. And holy Jesus fucking Christ, that cut. That was one of the worst cuts I've ever seen in all of combat sports. Like when she like grabbed it with her glove and yanked it down, and her skin just flapped, and you see her skull. Bro, like no, I was out. I could not handle that. That was rough for me.
Yeah, we needed a break in the fucking the action right there.
Yeah, trigger warning for that shit. Holy cow!
Let's get that famous first week DAZN crotch shot or something, because I don't need to see the fucking skull. Let's get those crazy angles back.
The way the camera's at like the base. That was so bad.
Dude's ass, nice. Thanks.
So bad. But wow. Thoughts on this fight, guys? Gary, obviously I know Esparza was a Texas fighter. I know you picked her in this fight. She didn't win though, and obviously I think.
Why is that funny? Because I picked Esparza, who's an Olympic medalist. Like, why is that funny?
No, it's just another one.
Another one bites the dust. Another one.
All right.
The yin to my yang, Gary.
Remember when you picked Luke Campbell to beat Loma? That was a good time.
All right.
Oh, did you hear Rob? All right.
You know where I'm coming with that.
Relax.
How's Terry Flanagan these days? Cool.
The last time I pick a Brit, that's for sure.
Anyways.
Yeah, the fight, Gary. The fight. Come on, stay on.
That was a great fight.
It was.
Look, I think, when did that cut open up? Was it the 4th or the 5th? But there was a clear change in the fight. Like, I want to see him do it again. Like, I thought Esparza was doing really well in the first 3 rounds. I thought she won the first 3 rounds, and then that cut happened. I don't know if it changed her mentality or what, but the fight seemed to change. Or maybe it was just, she was getting figured out. Man, I don't know. But I want to see him do it again. I think it was – look, I thought the right person won. At the time that went to the cards, I thought Estrada had won enough rounds to win the fight. But I thought the fight changed, so I'd like to see it again. It was a really good fight. I don't think anyone would mind seeing it again, right? So
I agree.
I think that thing was gruesome. I can't believe they let it go on as long as they did. I'm just wondering if they would have stopped it earlier. And I guess the scorecards were so ridiculous, it wouldn't have mattered. Like, if they would have stopped it in the 5th.
Those scorecards were really bad.
If they would have stopped it in the 5th, do you think we would have got a different winner? Because I haven't seen the cards, but you're right. 90-81 means she lost every single round.
All the scorecards, it was 88-83.
Was the closest. Yeah.
89-82, and then 90-81. And like Gary said, the first 3 rounds, you give to Esparza. Like, just give it to her. Like, she clearly won the first 3 rounds. Maybe even the first 4 rounds, honestly. But the next 5, Estrada took over. Like, clear as day. And I thought she won a close decision, but got, not the way the judges scored it. But digress from that, I agree, Gary. I do think they should run it back. I do, however, think that Esparza needs some time off to heal that cut.
Oh yeah, a lot of times, and not you know. I mean,
she
that
could
was
do a WWE fight or something.
like honestly, like, you can't train with that type of cut for a long time. Like she might take 9 months to a year off, and that's probably a good thing. And plus, she's young enough so that she can do that. You know, I know she's like 31, but like she's young enough where she can take a year off if she needs to and come back and just try to get big fights and make some money and bow out for the career. Like she can just do that route, which is a really good route to do.
She could do Esparza versus Braun Strowman just to rest that cut.
Moving on, Rob, any thoughts on this fight?
No, good fight. Again, I picked Estrada. I'm just on fire. But no, yeah, that cut. Oh my god, that was horrific. And yeah, it was a matter of time before. Yeah, they had to pull her from that. Brave girl carrying on from that. Like me and Gary were talking. I think you got up for a drink before we came on, but like the Badu Jack one, but like
worse.
Yeah,
like far worse. And the Badu Jack one was bad.
Yeah, when we saw that, it was like, oh my god, that's the worst cut I've ever seen. And then,
and I'm not a doctor.
We'd get that topped.
I'm not a doctor, but I like the Badu Jack cut wasn't bleeding in his eyes, right? This one was, but aside from that, like, isn't there just a point where you've lost too much blood? Like,
it was something that I don't think it's even that. Like, she was getting scalped in front of us. Like, there was one moment where they flipped up the flap, and it literally looked like they were scalping her, bro. Like, I'm not shitting you.
Let's pin that back. It's getting in the way.
Like, that's what they were trying to do, it looked like, bro. I'm not shitting you. Like, it was the craziest cut I have ever seen in combat sports history. And I've seen some gnarly cuts because I watch MMA too, guys. So those cuts over there are insane. This one was the gnarliest cut of all time. I'm going to go on that ledge. Show me a bigger cut.
When I was watching it, like, I had two thoughts. I was like, shout out to the commission for not stopping it because it's a girl. That was my first thought. Second thought was maybe we should just stop this fight regardless because it's a human being.
Yeah. Like man or woman. Yeah. Man or woman, what are we watching?
We're watching someone literally get scalped in front of us. What are we watching?
I'm glad we didn't see the cut man after the fight still putting Vaseline in it. I've seen that so many times. I'm like, what the fuck are you doing? Why are you putting Vaseline in a fight that's top?
Staple it or something.
The fucking doctor... He's now going to have to clean that shit out to sort you out. I've seen it so many times at the end of fights.
Mm-hmm.
I know they said that Badu Jack took like 130 something stitches. I'm just interested to see like the over under. Like, is this going to be more or less than Badu Jack?
Let me check.
My over and under, guys, is 1,000 stitches. I'm not joking. That her entire like frontal lobe was exposed to us.
Yeah. Estrada by lobotomy.
Literally. We're not joking here. If you have not seen the fight, I know like Leonard hadn't seen some of the fights yet. Like, go watch this fight. First off, it's a good fight. But secondly, you just have to see the cut. Like, you just have to see it. Like, this is one of those things you have to see in your lifetime.
It's one of those, when you're scrolling through Twitter and like you're just scrolling, and then you see like a horrific leg break. Or so when this pops up on your feed and you go, oh shit, you just try to scroll off it quick, but then the curiosity kicks in that you go back again just to have another look. But oh yeah, nasty. But yeah, shout out to the women doing their thing lately, right? Good fights being put on. We just need that depth in the talent pool, I guess.
Boom is saying she had 20 stitches on IG. Not enough. I'm not a doctor.
How wide were they?
It's not enough stitches.
Yeah. But low on thread or something.
Well, we have to sort of hurry up because we've been talking about this card for almost an hour, and we have a lot of stuff to get to. Maybe we push a lot of the news to tomorrow's show. Maybe, I don't know. Maybe just get through the fights today. But
we need to worry about Chavez.
And we have a lot
of other news too. But we might.
I'm available, Matt. Like, we can do more shows. Like, if you want to like chop it up and go to Cole's and do half the topics tomorrow, and we can talk about this off air, but I'm available to do more shows if you are.
Perfect. I know you are, because obviously the time zones are more hospitable than me and Rob.
I mean, Rob,
you're in bed before 1.
And Rob works like 12-hour shifts, and Gary just sits at home because he's retired.
Yeah, he does a 2-hour day.
3. Sometimes I have to travel, but I mean, and I usually do that in the middle of the night, like 5 o'clock in the morning. But I mean, to be fair, I mean, I don't get his British wit, so maybe they do on the other side. But Rob doesn't add much to the show, really. I mean, you know.
Yeah, this is Rob needs to work on his flow for sure.
I'm just kidding, Rob.
I know, mate. I know.
Anyways,
Topic.
Backroom.
We do Blair the Flair Cobbs.
Yeah, we're gonna talk about everything that I've seen, and stuff that you've seen that I haven't seen, because there's like stuff in the Katie Taylor card that I've not seen that I want you to talk about because I've not seen it. Backroom Mertzelev. I'm gonna butcher this name every time I see it because it's just way too many vowels and consonants that just in different combinations. Just too much. Defeating Jorge Fortea. He's a guy that I know he had a bunch of hype. He looked decent, but I need to see a lot more from him, to be quite honest. Guys, any thoughts on this fight?
I honestly didn't catch this one, I'm afraid.
I didn't catch it either.
Oh, you were in bed.
Blair Cobbs defeating Carlos Ortiz. Well, there's a third name, so that confused me there because I just remember it being Ortiz on the telecast. But digressing, Blair Cobbs winning via technical decision. I mean, he looked good here. I'm yet to see the hype around him, to be honest, because he has some hype around him for some reason.
His own hype.
Is that what it is?
I mean,
J-Rock was hyping him up. Like, there's certain boxers I know that have been hyping up this guy too. But I was not impressed, to be honest. He looked fine, but fine. Same with Backroom. Like, they just look kind of fine, decent.
He's picked himself off the floor in his last 2 fights to early knockdowns. But I know the sport needs characters, but I just don't want this one. He's annoying. But people might tune in to watch him lose or something like that, you know. So he's doing that whole. He got the booze at the weigh-in because of his Ric Flair fucking woo, you know, all that shit, and talking like he was talking to Mean Gene Oakland back in the day.
Can you do the Ric Flair again? Can you do that?
No, I'm not doing. I'm not.
You actually did a pretty good job there, Rob. I'm not gonna lie.
The first one was better. I can't.
When I said you did a good job, I did not mention the second time, of course.
Okay,
that was.
For me,
we can move on. It's Blair Cobbs. Like, we don't need to talk about it.
All right after getting knocked down. He was fairly slickish.
Quick mention of Evan Holyfield, obviously Evander Holyfield's son, having his pro debut. I didn't watch it. I'll be honest.
It's all right. Referee maybe could have let that go on a bit, but again, he was only going to get hurt, the kid, so maybe the right decision. But he did jump in very quickly to wave that off.
Now, I mean, I think they wanted to get him the knockout, so they stopped it. I mean, look, Evander Holyfield is one of my all-time favorite fighters. Holyfield Bo 1 was the fight that made me fall in love with boxing. He didn't look. I mean, again, I don't know how old he was, but like he looked wild. I don't know. I mean,
I don't care.
He's the son of a legend, and that's pretty much what he's got going.
Yeah. Common theme: wild sons of legends.
Holyfield's got another kid that plays for the Carolina Panthers.